Haïtiens. Ou côté pour nous vivre, ou côté pour nous tout camper propre. Ouais, dem chanter, chanter ça. Ouais, dem chanter, chanter ça. Mes amis, Kumanouye, en battant Tchaye, Soyo, Kumanouye. Oui, oui, Kumanouye, en battant des Soyo, Kumanouye. Trois bombes n'a pas eu moins. Faut nous pas graduer. Pour côté pour nous toutes quand vivre au peuple. M'oublier chanter, chanter ça. M'oublier chanter, chanter ça. Mucho hulo.
Specific thing that's called the 3 Ezeli Dantor principles for New World. And because I deal all the time with the capsizing of Haitians, the deportations of Haitians, the first one is that we advocate as both Pan-Africanists and as Pan-Americanists, because not only did we win our independence, but we freed 5 Latin American countries. So we are Pan-Africanists. So we advocate one Western Hemisphere passport, American passport. We advocate one minimum wage so people don't have to leave anywhere. They can get $20 minimum wage where they are, $15 to $20. If it's even, no Haitians would ever leave Haiti, no Jamaicans would ever leave Jamaica. If they can get the same thing, that we advocate one minimum wage, one Western Hemisphere passport.
So, welcome all of you who are here. That okay. I am going to go out and come back in and see what happens. So this is double. Maybe it's because I was on another StreamYard before I came here. And it's somewhere. So just be patient. It looks like it's working on YouTube. So please share. The folks you were listening to is Descendant, they're a Cuban group. Jean-Jacques Dessalin. I can died 9 months. before the birth, uh, before the birth of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And though there were no records, you know, the enslaved did not have birth certificates. They were property. They were put on a ledger. So that's what we're dealing with. Um, Mama Bai Nabello and others um, have determined essentially the way I look at it. I'm not saying that's the way she looks at it, but the way I look at it. We don't know when Toussaint Louverture was born. He doesn't have a birth certificate. We can only look at what he says, which is either 1743 or 1745. Remember, we were enslaved. But Haitians have come to a consensus on September 20th, 1758. They have come to that consensus and we respect it. Those of you who came with me for Boakaima, you notice that I also bring to your attention that Dessalines in his 1805 Constitution said for us to remember him as Ogu, which is July 25th. So we do that also. But I honor, and it's a choice, right? There are so many facts that we hear from our enemies about our heroes, that it's very important that we come to a consensus as Haitians. And so it is official right now, September 20th, 1758, as his birth. And like I said, for me, I see it as exactly 9 months from the prophecy of Makandal. We may never know when these folks were born. And there's lots of conflicting information. But we know that there is a consensus for September 20th. And we also know that Dessalines is Ogu, and we celebrate him at Free Haiti. As you guys saw, those of you who came to the teaching on Bokaima Boinan, we elevate Bassin, the Plaines du Nord, as the place where the revolution really began for the Africans who were enslaved. Of course, earlier there was the Auger and the southern mulattoes who wanted civil rights. They didn't want to get rid of slavery. They wanted to have the same political rights as the whites. But then the Africans had been fighting for liberty since they stepped on that Middle Passage. And they got together, women, children, and men of all different stratas of the slavetocracy. I always like to say, as you guys know, that this is the only revolution I know that had overseers and a lot of those who were part of the system, which is why in the last teaching we talked about how this secret gave us our liberty when all different stratas of our society got together. And I hope that all the stratas of our society are listening and studying how Boukman was overseer, how Toussaint Louverture was a coachman, and how all of them got together with the enslaved. Now, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. There were a lot of folks that shouldn't have died that died. It was a bloody war. And as Dessalines said, for independence or death. And he succeeded. That's why we are celebrating him. He succeeded. For the last 21 years, since 2004, Free Hayti has elevated Janjak Desalin in our teaching. So today, I want to talk to you about, and then hopefully I'm going to be looking at comments on, I think, on comments on YouTube. Let's try that beginning one more time and see if it's not, if it comes in. So, how are you guys doing? Life, legacy, triumph of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. At Free Hayti, we look at the three ideals of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And for us, those three ideals, and that's just to give you, like, there's many things you find in the 1805 Constitution, you find in the Act of Independence, and his words, you understand, that will tell you who he is and why he's so different than other revolutionaries, right? But for us, when we try to distill what's important about Jean-Jacques Dessalines, we looked at these three ideals. And they are, he decided to name the island Hayti after the indigenous people that the conquistadors and so on had eliminated. So the honor that we carry as Haitiens is that we give life in breath. And that is very, very special. That is something to be so proud of when they say the name Haïtien, because we are giving breath to the freedom fighters that had been fighting Christopher Columbus, from Anacaona to Caonabo to Atre. We have been fighting since the beginning. And since we are original to planet Earth, you guys know that I'm always saying there were blacks in Haiti. It was the Black Caracals, Aguene. And so if you go up to Caracal Bay, over there in the north, the European put their military base there and have been excavating and taking things out so that they can change history. But if you look at, I have a, I send this picture all the time. If you look at if you look at the riches that we talk about all of the time, and you go to, so the revolution started on August 22nd, 1791. And then you had the Wakayama ceremony on August 14th. And there was another one, probably the 17th or the 21st, over at Dédé Marguerite, Marguerite Jean Vaudou, in right beneath where you have the Citadel. She was, or a legend say that she was Henri Christophe's spiritual advisor. And I said this in the last teaching so that Haitian women could understand that women in Haiti, just like women today, right? We are the backbone of the informal economy, which holds up the country, in addition to the, I think it's $3.2 billion that the Haitian diaspora brings in, like in 2023. So we are what's holding up Haiti, not NGO charity, but these dwarfs and conzes, they like to get that money into their pockets. But you understand that pretty much since our independence and since the first coup d'etat, which is when Jean-Jacques Dessalines was murdered, um, October 17th, 1806. Since then, um, we have been never really had any sort of state services. They come and take our taxes at the market, but no services. And so, what do we need the state for? We don't. As a matter of fact, we haven't had a state since the death of or the assassination by the PHTK people and the US government who put him in since the assassination of in July 7th, 2021 of um, Jovenel Moïse. I'm going to try to put this in and see if it will not. Oh, it does not go in. I don't know why. All right. So this is where we are, people. Okay. So that was the first principle. First ideal of Dessalines is that he reached back and did something extraordinary so that every time your name is mentioned, you are elevating the spirit of those ancient folks, Black in a Meridian, who were on the island before the bringers of doom came in. The second principle in his 1805 Constitution, Jean-Jacques Dessalines says, all Haïtiens, including all the different classifications of the Code Noir, right? Mixed, mulatto, quadroon, octoroon, all that division that serves imperialism and colonialism. Dessalines flattened it out, which is why sometimes I look at these academics deciding to just ignore Black power and call us gens de couleur when you went through the Middle Passage. Remember, right? I think more than 60% of the Haitians who fought the revolution, the majority were African born. The majority went through the Middle Passage. So when you read some of these academics' books where they decide that we are people of color for some mulatto interests, or because the European has pushed that, right? They don't see us as human. They see us as Black, mulatto, and so on, right? But we know, and I always say this, that the Black generals fought Vétier, right? Pétion, Boyer, he was somewhere in Port-au-Prince. But we know that the northern men that never betrayed the people, mulattoes, right? Bois-Tonnerre and Clairvaux. Clairvaux, I think, really has not gotten his due. When I ask why, folks tell me because he died early. Well, so did Toussaint Louverture. But Clairvaux fought valiantly for our independence. And what after Vertier, this descendant of an African woman with a white man, I'm not sure, but he was a mulatto. He signed our very first Act of Independence on November 29th, 1803, a couple of days after Janjak Desalin beat the greatest European army. And that was after they had beaten the Spanish and the British out of Hayti. So I'm going to be looking at, I hope you guys are sharing it. Like I said, we have some time together. So let's, if you have any questions on the three ideals or why I chose those amongst all of the paperwork of Dessalines, like I said, we look at his 1805 Constitution, his Act of Independence, his April 28 edict, where he warned that there were whites on the island that were trying to divide us. And he said to the mulattoes at that time, if you let them do this, you will regret it. And I contend that because Pétion, Boyer, and probably even to Henri Christophe participated in the, I mean, it was obviously the South that carried most of the plot, but they knew that they needed the army or the connivance of Henri Christophe, and Henri Christophe made sure he got rid of Capois Lamor first. So don't let anyone tell you that somehow Dessalines, in the Haitian Revolution, like I said, it's a very complicated shifting of alliances, because you never know who's someone betraying you, who is not betraying you. But my North Star with Jean-Jacques Dessalines is when he said at Crête-à-Pierrot in 1802 March, that if you see me betray you, the black masses, right? The fight for independence or death, understand that it's a strategy. Now, the academics, especially the descendants of imperial France in Guadeloupe and other places, those places that believe that the Haitian Revolution should not have been fought. We should have just kept being raped by these pedophiles and sodomites and so on, and have no agency. For them, they can blithely say that we are the poorest in the Western Hemisphere because we took our independence ahead of time. And somehow, because Haiti owns more land, Haitian peasants own more land than all of the Caribbean nations, right? So for them, that means nothing, right? It means nothing that you have agency. You can use the land to take care of yourself and your family. They give you propaganda. They give you the ability to believe that only their way of life is good, that your lakou, your homestead, after 300 years of slavery, after all that was going on in Africa, this little tiny piece where you looked over the island with your family and try to find your family and bring them into a lakou so that they can be in a piece of land and you could see them. That wasn't important to these European folks writing our history and mourning their pearl of the Antille. So the third And I apologize to those of you who have always already heard this, because obviously I've been doing this for a long time, and it's important for the new generation to hear these things. So the third idea that's so very important is Dessalines' law, right? Well, before Dessalines' law, he said, I stand for Black ruled independent nation. Remember, okay, none of the others did. Toussaint Louverture stood for Black rule French colony. He thought that was the best he could do. And then the French met Jean-Jacques Dessalines. That's why he's so extraordinary. Because even today, let's say the nine dwarfs at the CPT calling themselves president of what we don't know, right? They don't believe they can be free. You see, in 2004, when France first put its foot on this land, I stood and said, we're going to free Haiti. And folks said, oh, no, we're free, but you don't control anything. So Black rule independent nation. And that means Dessalines' law. No white man from whatever country he should be shall own property in Haiti. And that for me came from his experience with the whites when Toussaint Louverture invited them back and wanted to make kind of a bate, a little bit, kind of, they were going to get wages, and but they would have to work for the same enslaver. As you know, let's say their names: Jean-Baptiste Sans Souci, Noël Puyer, a whole bunch of Maroons did not want to do that, and they fought against it, and they had to fight against Dessalines and the Black generals. So let me share this video for a minute, because I want you to see the three Esli Dantor principles.
Kumanouye, ambafoko de sang, Kumanouye. Trois bobes n'a failli mourir. Faut nous pas graduer. Pour nous toutes quand vivre au peuple. M'oublier chanter ça. M'oublier chanter ça.
Let's stop for a minute and look at this. It says, I only want the brave with me. This was a Crête-à-Pierrot. So we were outnumbered in that space. And Dessalines said, those who wish to become once again French slaves can make their way out of this fort. Right? At that time, they say sometimes, I think there were 500 to 700 Africans, and maybe, in the thousands of European with greater weaponry, right? So those contrary who wish to die as free men may take their place around me. And that's our motto at the Free Haiti movement. So because, we're not everybody's cup of tea. We give them cognitive dissonance. Dessalines said, also, we must, with one last act of national authority, forever assure the Empire of Liberty. And this is important because, well, you could, I mean, there's a couple of important things here. It could mean, this is where he was born, because there are certain people like Dubroco, who was a writer, white slaver, um, who was hired by Napoleon to write the biography of Dessalines and Toussaint. Of course, even to this day, academics are quoting that mercenary. But one of the things he said was that Dessalines was born in Africa. But part of the reason he said that, and we don't know, part of the reason he said that, of course, was because, well, he couldn't have been in a general in the Haitian, in the French army, born in Africa. He must have been, and the divisions that these academics love, right? He must have been a Creole, which means born in Hayti, born in the Americas. So so here, if you want to take Dessalines literally, he was born in Cormier, right? He says, in the country of our birth, we must take any hope of being re-enslaved away from the inhuman government that for so long kept us in the most humiliating torpor. In the end, this is important, we must live independent or die. Right now, we're dying because we're not independent.
Specific thing that's called the 3 Ezili principles for a new world. And because I deal all the time with the capsizing of Haitians, the deportations of Haitians, the first one is that we advocate as both Pan-Africanists and as Pan-Americanists, because not only did we win our independence, but we freed 5 Latin American countries. So we are Pan-Africanists. So we advocate one Western Hemisphere passport, American passport. We advocate one minimum wage so people don't have to leave anywhere. They can get $20 minimum wage where they are, $15 to $20. If it's even, no Haitians would ever leave Haiti. No Jamaicans would ever leave Jamaica. If they can get the same thing, that we advocate one minimum wage, one hemisphere passport. And after working in this field for a long time, I have studied and I have come to this conclusion. And I say this to all Pan-Africanists. This idea that we can actually organize the masses is impossible, because there is only half of 1% of the population ruling over 7.5 billion people. And they do it, how do they do it? Through the corporatocracy. So even if you organize the masses, the corporatocracy has more rights than human beings. We have to be able to scale up to that point. And it can't be done with the masses who are traumatized.
Ouais, dem chanter, chanter ça. Ouais, dem chanter, chanter ça.
All right, folks. So before Hayti, this is the album for this teaching. I'm going to be adding to it as we go on. We go from September to October for Janjak Desalin. We're definitely going to have one or two more. But until she spoke, this was a speech by Frederick Douglass. Until she spoke, no Christian nation had abolished Negro slavery. Until she spoke, no Christian nation had given the world an organized effort to abolish slavery. Until she spoke, the slave trade was sanctioned by all the Christian nations of the world. And this is America he's talking about, and our land of liberty and light included. Until she spoke, that's Haiti. And I want Haitian to take that in. Men made fortunes in this infernal traffic and were esteemed as good Christians. Just like right now, as they bomb Palestine to smithereens, they want to use religion. Well, they did that. The Catholics did that when they destroyed the Jews in Germany and when they created the slave trade in the Americas. Men made fortune by this infernal traffic and were esteemed as good Christians and the standing type and representative of the saviors of the world. They will stand in your face, you, descendant of the pioneers of human rights, and tell you how much they are the saviors. They've got their fake democracy, their evil, lesser and greater evil, their fake elections, their fake aid, their fake free trade, which is monopolistic capitalism, all of that. But then they'll tell you it's the greatest system in the world. Until I will tell you our system, what we counteracted with, the reason why you and I are here. Until Hayti spoke, the church was silent and the pulpit was dumb. Slave traders lived and slave traders died. Funeral sermons were preached over them, and of them it was said that they died in the triumph of the Christian faith and went to heaven among the just. This is from a lecture in the late 1800s by the great Frederick Douglass. So, as you guys know, I do a I do a album for the teachings. So Janjak Desalin was born 267 years ago up this mountain in Cormier. We don't have it in writing. If it wasn't for Dr. Mirabeau, was a French doctor who wrote about Victoria Montu, Zit Toya, we would not have known these circumstances, right? We would not have known that Toya even existed. But Toya was also enslaved in the plantation called Cormier, near the about walking distance, I guess, maybe an hour away from the center of Grand Rivière du Nord in the north, right? It's very important about where he was born because remember the revolution started in the plains. He was very familiar with the mountains. So what is Dessalines? One of his great saying to us. So he learned this from his lived experience, right? That he says, when the nation is in trouble, I'm paraphrasing, you can find it in the 1805 Constitution. He says to close the cities and go inland, because he was born inland. He understood these mountains. These are the mountains of Cormier. This is a marking of, a lot of these plantations and places were destroyed. So these are markings of Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Cormier. And I urge entrepreneurs to make these places, excuse me, like Bassin Ogu and Bois Caïman, all of those places, places that we do pilgrimages to. This marking, it's marked 1758. Someone was arguing with me today about when Jean-Jacques Dessalines was born. Well, like I said, we were enslaved, but we will not let that stop us from celebrating Jean-Jacques Dessalines 9 months after the prophecy of the great Francois Macandal. So you guys can find this. This is actually on the mountain. A little closer, a closer view. I hope you're seeing, you're being able to see it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me get to, I think I did all three of the various, so you can find that on the Free Hayti movement. And I would ask you to please join. Most of my work there are found in the album sections, okay? If you want to find an archive of the work, some of the work. If you want to find other archives, you can go to my website and search, because I've been doing this for 21 years now. And let's see if I can share that with you. How are you guys doing? Let me check to see if you have any questions. So if you want to see, I even have archive sites. They're so old that some of the links are not working. So let's see. Until she spoke, let me see if I can show that to you. So ezelidanto at .com, and I do this all the time, right? So what was Leclerc's imperative? It was a new model of slavery. You know, Leclerc is the general, the brother-in-law of Napoleon, who came with his wife with all her fancy dresses to bring us back into slavery in 1802, February. So, and he essentially said to Napoleon, we have to kill every single Haitian that wore a uniform, and all men, I think he said, up to the age like 12 or so. That was the Leclerc imperative. And in 2004, 200 years later, they have come to do exactly that. And you must wake up, Haitian, because the Ottawa Initiative of 2003, December, said that our population, remember, Haiti has one of the largest Black population in the Western Hemisphere, certainly, I think, second to Brazil. So they said that we would have a population in 2019 of 20 million, and that was a bomb waiting to happen. So everything we're experiencing with these death squads, whether it was FROP in the 90s or Vive Ensemble right now, it is part of their way, the imperialist way of destroying you. Okay. Remember, for those of you who know history, after August 14th, 1791, the European in the north of Haiti could not stop the Africans in the north. What did they do? Our greatest enemy, they got together with the affranchis, which were the free blacks in the cities, and put together units to try to put us down. And that's one of the reasons why Biasu and some of those guys, because they were going to do shock and awe in the plains, in the and that's a very flat area. That's why Mambo-Inan, as I said to you, and some of those people, if you look at history, they ended up in Guanaïve. Biasu ended up in, it was because just like when 9/11 happened, the United States had to find someone to blame and went and bombed for their own corporatocracy and oligarchs on the lie of weapons of mass destruction. And the free men that they used then wasn't Patreon or anything. It was Colin Powell, Condi Rice. So the template is here. You can learn it in Haitian history, because right now the free men are the assimilated Negroes at the CPT. Assimilated Negroes who do this musical chair over at the OAS and call themselves our chief of police, giving us security. But they're working for our naked enemies. So remember, and it's not either or, right? Because there were free men. They got together, right? Janjak Desalin, Toussaint Louverture, Henri Christophe, these were free men. They got together and didn't do what Colin Powell, Condi Rice, and Susan Rice, and so on, and the CPT. So let's us understand that just because you're melanated does not mean you are progressive. And I think there was one white man, I can't remember his name, Nicholas, who actually signed the Haitian Declaration of Independence. But you're probably not going to read about that because, like I said, they want to keep it into a fight between mulattoes and blacks. And they keep doing that. Okay. But remember, Brown Tourneur was a mulatto, and he definitely was hung by the mulatto sons of France because of his connection to Janjak Desalin. People say, of course, to Henri Christophe because of his ambition in the North and his Eurocentrism in many ways. Although we have to see that they do say that he was advised at some point in time by Marguerite Jean Vaudou, who is Dédé Magritte. So, all right, I'm going to go and share some more lessons of the Haitian Revolution, I think, and then I will look for questions, and if there's none, we will wrap this up, right? So don't worry, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna go ahead and check Okay. I am going to check. uh, okay. I will check to see. Okay, what is that? Fulfilling Haiti's legacy. Let's get that out of there. So if you want to look for um, past Haitian, past Haitian, um, so you can go here and you could put Desalines and you will find some of our coverage of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, right? Um, we have the in English and Creole, we have the 1805 Constitution. It's on my website. All you have to do is just do what I just did. Stolen Legacy, all of this stuff is Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I have avenged America. He said that on November 29th with the first uh, of independence, with the first Declaration of Independence. And then, Jean-Jacques Dessalines was trying very hard to bring unity together. So he wanted the mulatto sons of France in the South to participate in the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and all the generals who had fought in the war. So this guy was really trying to include everybody. Um, but those are the people that killed him. So, in order, so another lesson of the Haitian Revolution I'm always teaching, right, is that there comes a point in time when you are being destroyed. And we got to that. Of course, we were at that point, of course, as soon as they got to Africa. So essentially, that lesson was there's no mothers here, there's no fathers here, there's only soldiers here. And that was Grenadier à l'assaut. Those who don't know it, I think, you might want to try to get that, because a lot of times we just don't know what the lessons are of the Haitian Revolution. So you can go through this whole entire different ones to find what you want. Now you can put Dessalines' name in Creole, or let me see. The thing about colonialism is when you're trying to decolonize and not use French names, it's almost impossible, because you have to, the algorithm is in their language. So I tend to use all of the different variations. I like this particular one, Un autre vision de Dessalines, by Jacques Casimir. It's a very interesting read. So if you have a chance, take a moment and do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think, what did I just do? Came back on here, I hope. All right, I'm going to go now to YouTube and see if we have any questions. So, in addition to the ideals of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, which we have culled from his very words, not from reading what the academics have written about him, but from his very words and from what we have become, which is that counter plantation economy that we have. Combit la cour jardin vive. We, like I said, I think the remittances from the diaspora is 3.2 billion. They try to tell you about their jobs, but most Haitian are self-employed. That's the informal economy, which is why I always say the GDP does not reflect our real economy. And I'm always urging, and I urge today again, for Haitian economists to figure out a way to make Haitian way of living, the way Dessalines did with the Haitian Constitution that said you're not worthy of being Haitian if you're not a good father, a good son, a good husband, and above all, a good soldier. These are lessons of the Haitian Revolution. I do not tire telling them, right? So, um, let's see if I can find um, any questions. And then we'll
Trois pommes n'a pas eu moins. Faut nous pas graduer. Au côté pour nous toutes comme il faut vrai. M'oublier chanter ça. M'oublier chanter ça. Mucho ulo. Mucho ulo.
Okay, what I'm seeing is not what you guys are seeing, so let me see. All right, so what are you seeing? You're seeing this. So let me change the view. For those of you who want to support this work, you know, we have all of the various social media spaces. You can go to my website if you want to make a donation. You could come to my Patreon and all of that. I'm not but why can't I do okay. Slide only. See if that will work. All right. I'm gonna end on this maybe. Well, we have some time. So the three Esli-Dantar principles for a new world. After a lot of Pan-Africanists and Pan-Americanists, right? Because I say that we are both. Of course, we were the first to bring liberty into application, but also we were the first to liberate we were the first to liberate 5 Latin American countries, so that we are Pan-Africanists. We gave liberty to those folks. And so in that space, right, Haitians are always, I think it is a human right to be able to travel. And for more than 200 years, we were essentially embargoed from traveling unless it was for the interests of empire, right? We went to Cuba to do, you know, sugar, and to Dominican Republic, and before that the Panama Canal, right? So you can travel when you're going to Springfield, Ohio, under the Biden program. But if you just wanted to be able to go, you know, for a long time, Haitians were facing, and we are facing right now, 500,000 Haitians with TPS are facing instability. So if I leave nothing in this world, intellectually, I want to leave at least what I can. And those are the 3 Esli-Dantar principles for a new world. I believe that if Tantoya was here, Dessalines was here, and he looked at the geopolitical space that we're in right now, the fact that the United States is using us as a naval base between Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, who have alliances in certain varied ways with Russia, its so-called competitor. He would say, as Pan-Africanists, we have fought in every war in the Americas, but just for basic human rights. There should be one American passport for all the Americas, period. And we advocate that for all the Americas, for all the countries in the Caribbean, South and Central America. One American passport. We also say that doesn't mean you can't have your Haitian passport, right? We also say that we think that in order to have any sort of equity, right, if you're dealing with the nation state, and I'm going to tell you how we have to have a parallel way of not dealing with the nation state. But if you're dealing with the nation state, and they control all of the trade routes, they control right now, like you see, right? They decide who's going to fly into Hayti. And the worst airline, Sunrise, is flying into Haiti and gouging Haitians like crazy. But imagine if there was one hemisphere passport and one hemisphere minimum wage, right? Modified for depreciation and so on, right? And everyone in the Americas got the same thing, $20, $15, right? The world is abundant. But this vampire, this bringer of doom, who works with monopolistic capitalism and antitrust, just all of this hoarding everything, right? They want to go colonize Mars now, just to hoard, as if there's not intelligence in the world. I can't wait for them to come across that. So that's where we are, right? So we want to be like Janjak Desalin. We want to create at Free Hayti and the ESLI network a new vision for Haitians who are being born right now to work towards one hemisphere passport, one minimum wage, $15 to $20. Because if we had one minimum wage, number one, we have to understand most Haitians are self-employed, right? I checked before I came here how many sweatshop jobs there are. So it's like 26,000. Like they never really get to 100,000. And we have almost 13 million people. But only less than 100,000 have these wage jobs. And then you have, domestics, other people that are working for the state. I don't think it's more than 20, 30,000 that have wage jobs. But most of Haiti is the informal economy, right? Almost 80 to 95% almost, right? But they don't count that as your economy. We have to change that. But if, like I said, those who are going into these wages, we have to, first of all, we have to not allow foreigners to make more money in IT than a similarly situated Haitian lawyer, Haitian engineer. No, you can't have that. That's why most of our students want to go work for an NGO or some foreigner, because then the wage is higher. We have to do something about that if we want to change the destruction we see with the CPT, right? Because they know once they finish, right, it might be hard for them to get another NGO job making the same amount of money they're making now. So that you have most of our very talented people are being seduced by the salaries of Westerners, whereas the Haitian lawyer who's teaching that Western lawyer Haitian law is making McDonald's wages compared. So those are the things that we have to work at, right? One minimum wage plus the equity, right? Because you can't have sovereignty if all your top intellectuals are going abroad because of the money that they can't even make in IT, that some ridiculous college graduate who knows no Creole, no Haitian culture is going to make $500 a day. And they're making less than $5 or $50 if you move it up. Dessalines created an empire which means that, and this is the most amazing, important thing about who and what we are. The division you see right now, but that the Berlin Conference did in Africa with the various nations, they cut them. We have to stop that, right? In Haiti, that was stopped. We don't get enough credit for doing that as a people, right? Because they want to keep doing our, the division. But no Haitian tells you I'm Igbo, I'm Benin. They say I'm Haitien. And that was a feat in 1804. So for me, all those nations, right? And remember, out of the 500,000 or so Africans who were in Haiti during 1791, about 60% of them came from the Greater Congo, which is Congo, Angola, Gabon, Congo, Angola, right? That whole Central Africa. Today, instead of being a captured state, I advocate that because of our history, because of all that we have suffered at the hand of white supremacy worldwide, everybody took a hit at us, right? Whether it was the Germans, the Spanish, still doing it across our border. The United States is doing it with the core group, those 6 nations that have come together as one fist. I say Haiti. We can't give them a president that they can control. There are 10 departments in Haiti. I believe that Haiti is a sacred space. We have paid for that land 100 times over. 300 years of slavery. My goodness, you all know what it is, right? 300 years of slavery. We had the 19-year occupation. We had embargoes. And right now we have this new indirect neocolonialism that's been going on for almost 100 years since they left us and control our military and our police, right? So we don't control our own police, right? So for me, because of our history, because of Combi Lakou Jardin Vive, which the Haitian peasant created. What is Lakou? It's when you're under slavery and you lose your children and you're free, the first thing you do is go look for them on the island. Go look for them. And then bring them into your Lakou so that you could see where they are in this family homestead. We still have these family homesteads, over 200,000 of them. We still have those, and we need Haitian thinkers to scale it up technologically. Combi Lakou Jardin Vive, because when the dark comes, and when it came in such a horrific way after the assassination by U.S. agents, DEA, FBI, they say it, right? In the lawsuit in Miami that we're not supposed to see. That's confidential to the people of Haiti. It tells you we don't have sovereignty. All Haiti shall be a World Heritage Site, because we were the first to put liberty into application, the first to abolish slavery, direct colonialism, forced assimilation, through their education and all of those various activities and so on, right? So for me, Haiti is a sacred trust, like the Vatican, right? They kept Rome in the Vatican, right? But for Africans who first took slavery, colonialism, slave trading, and put liberty into application in Western Hemisphere, no part of Haiti can be sold or be somebody's free zone into a plantation. Haiti has paid over and over again, 1,000 times by Haitians for that land. And it belongs to my descendants and your descendants. And we live in a communal manner, right? So that the family homestead stays with the family. We can bring, just like Thailand does, right? Just like Monte Carlo does, right? You can't own land there, but you can go on vacation. You can, but we have to scale it up so that there's infrastructure in the 10 departments, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what else is here. Let's see if I could. Can I do that? Why isn't it going? Okay, I always talk about this. The next teaching. Okay, it's not on. Is it? Why is that not on? Okay, so the next teaching, everybody, is going to be the Vetier on November, and then after that January, and then after that we do May 20th, and then we come back around again in July. So, okay, let's see if you have any questions. And okay, let me go to Facebook, people, and see. I should have let me see if anybody's here. Okay, folks. Maybe I'll leave at 5:30. And so we talked about Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I am writing right now, so hopefully, maybe in November 18th, when I come back here, we can talk a little bit about um, some of that writing with, because as I look at what folks are saying about Haiti, um, a lot of the information doesn't empower us, and it we when I write to empower and to say the non-colonial narrative. So, okay, let me try to go to my um, YouTube channel, see if I can see anyone. And then if there is no questions, YouTube, we will wrap this up. So please share and come back in November for the next teaching. Um, my goodness, are you guys paying attention to what's happening to America and freedom of speech these days? It is a bit exhausting. All right. So we good. I don't know. Let me see if there's a live chat in here. All right. I have no idea what's being shared. Let me. What is that? So, merci, Papa Desalin. Thank you. I love Moïse Leroy's poem. He says, every time I hear a colonized Negro, a Negro that is still captive, say, whenever I see them, I say thank you. If I'm whole, if I'm a whole human being today, I have to say thank you. If I can open my eyes and look at my surroundings, it is thanks to Dessalines. If I walk with my head up high, it is thanks to Dessalines. Every time I look to to another Negro, I say thank you, Dessalines. When I hear white men voices, I say thank you, Dessalines. When I hear my brothers and sisters, I say thank you, Dessalines. Only I know what you mean to me. Mighty Desalin, Desalin, my blood, apple of my eye, Desalin, my womb. Only I know why all Negroes must say, thank you, thank you, Desalin. Desalin, you gave us the earth we walked on, the skies over our heads, the trees, the rivers, the sea, the pond. It is all you. Desalin, if you, it is you who gave us the sun, the moon. Thank you so much. I mean, remember the darkness, right? You had no agency. Your baby was sold to whoever the white man or the slaver wanted to give your baby to. So this is why. Oh, I see you guys. I'm so sorry. Baina, I see Baina. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't know why I didn't see that before. Okay, people, thank you so very much. Um, I was going to try to get Baina up here, but she looks like she says she's leaving. Um, Hello, Akata. Thank you so much for always being here. I appreciate it. Uh, okay. Um, Thank you so much, Baina, for coming. I was looking for this to send you a link so that you could come and join me. Um, I don't know. I will send it to you by email if you're still there. Before we leave, I'm doing that right now, Baina. If you're still there, I am so sorry I didn't see it. It's because I had to silence that because at first it was two voices, the YouTube and the. But anyways, if you do get the link, Baina, please come and join and tell the people, give them your wisdom if you're still there. I just sent it to you through email. Okay. What else do I see here? Yes. Bookman, happy reincarnate. Okay, hello. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's because I had to mute my YouTube. So I'm not up to the various do you have thoughts on next year being 222? 222. Well, 8 is not a bad number, right? 2, 4, 6, 6. 6 is actually Esli Damto's number. It's the virgin. Well, no mother is a virgin, okay? But it's Esli Damto's number 6. I know that. Um, I think amazing things will happen because we will take action. God works through us, but I think that the alignments I talked to you before about Pluto, the conjunction, the there are major things that can happen right now. I believe that what's happening in the Sahel is going to continue to happen. I believe that IT will find alliances and that the people of IT, especially the diaspora and the young, there is a class that you cannot change. They make their money off of our blood, like the CPT and the police and the Vivancin and some of these schooled Haitians. But white America is seeing itself in the mirror, right? This latest Jimmy Kimmel thing, they're seeing themselves, right? This is how they treat us. Now they're being treated that way. And that's going to have some repercussions. Also, AI, right? I hope that Haiti wakes up very quickly, and because AI requires a lot of water, and guess where they're going to come and take it from? Us. And so these are things that are very, very important. Angola, how are you? Um, I want to tell you that a lot of our great uh, warriors came from Angola in the greater Congo and Central Africa. And, you know, Mundele, and we don't say it in the Congo, the way the Congolese say it, like Dokila, Najoki, those things. But we, most of the Haitians came out of the Congo, Central Africa. A greater number in earlier batches of enslavement came out of Dahomey in West Africa, Yoruba, Akan, Kowamanti. So we are the descendants of West Africa and Central Africa. So welcome, Angola. Glad to see you here. Let me see if there's one more question. So Mama Bella looked like she probably left. So I think I've covered everything, people, right? So one of the most important things is not to just consume, but produce, create, because the African warriors in the Haitian Revolution did what Spartacus could not do, what the biblical Jesus never even tried to do, what even Hinduism and all of that with its, caste system and so on. The Haitian warriors did something critical. That's why I say we should be a World Heritage Site in places like Cormier or places like Plaine du Nord and Bois-Caïman and the Galifet Plantation and where Papillon and Biassou were. Those places should be freedom tours, not a slave route, as the UNESCO is trying to do. But 200 and I'm going to finish on this. 267 years ago, based on what we know, we have come to a consensus that September 20th, 1758, which is 9 months after the prophecy of Macandal, Jean-Jacques Dessalines was born, and he won our independence and proved Black competency. Nay, I say superiority by beating 3 great European nations who cherished slavery as a normal human interaction. But the Haitian Revolution not only challenged it, condemned it, abolished it. It was a feat that no Christian had ever even thought to do or organized to do. Spartacus was destroyed along with 150,000 folks that the Europeans didn't have to destroy because they had already beaten them. But they wanted to do that. And our ancestors suffered greatly. Like I said, Clairvaux lost his brother. I mean, all of the regiments, 700 in, I think it was the 5th Regiment in Cap-Haïtien. They drowned them. We are those descendants. And I think it's a travesty that some of us are not proud of celebrating. I would celebrate Jean-Jacques Dessalines every day. So I can celebrate him on September 20th. I can celebrate him on July 25th. I can celebrate them on Vertier. I can celebrate him on January 1st. I celebrate Jean-Jacques Dessalines every day. For us, he is the greatest hero to ever live. And we're still today resisting the tyranny, but we're still here. And even though we have a lot of these men um, who bought into the division, like Pétion and Boyer, and to a certain extent, Henri Christophe, they still said no to slavery whenever, both of them, right? Both Henri Christophe and Pétion, when Jamaica, took that ride up from the east, Blue Mountains and so on, and came to Haiti. And the British asked, the British who were running around telling everybody that they had abolished slavery and the slave trade, when they asked for their enslaved Jamaicans back, Pétion said no. Same thing in the North with, so our history is not either or, right? Because none of our leaders of that era, they took Dessalines' word and maintain it with respect to providing sanctuary to those fleeing tyranny. And that's what makes us important and different. Even the worst of us, Pétion and Boyer, who killed Janjak Desalin, and the other folks in the South who conspired, the mulattoes in the North and the mulattoes in the South, then conspired to kill Henri Christophe in 1820, right? But we elevate Boisvallon-Tonnerre, we elevate those who did not sell out. And they are here today, those who did not sell out. And we want to have a dialogue. We want to bring Haitian history and all its complexities and talk about it. But the greatest hero who ever lived, who actually, when Toussaint Louverture was kidnapped out of Haiti by Napoleon, and they took Toussaint Louverture's, I think he was like 8-year-old son, Jean, who died, or children that died for our freedom, children, 8-year-old children, Clairvaux's son, Remy. Napoleon made sure that child died. So he made sure that Henri Christophe and Marie-Louise's child died in France because he was trying to blackmail their parents to give up the fight for slavery. So even those who were greedy enough for power that they would assassinate Jean-Jacques Dessalines on some trumped up that he was using the army as his personal honor guard, whatever Pétion said in his writings. Even them, right? They never allowed for slavery. Like if like I said, Pétion freed those Jamaicans who took, because both people came to us back though in those days, right? So Pétion did that. And I remember a case where they were asking him for the enslaved captives back. And Pétion said, I'll send you the boat, the ship. And he sent back the ship, but not the people. Same thing with Henri Christophe. So even though we may criticize them for Jean-Jacques Dessalines' death, remember, it was a very different time in terms of, all the CIA spies, all the people telling you that being African was bad, the same way they do today, right? So we bring all of them together and we say this, that the Haitian Revolution was put together by a disparate group of people. Each, for instance, the mulattoes with Auger and with Chaban Jean-Baptiste, they wanted civil rights that was comparable to the colonial assembly, the whites. That's what they wanted initially, right? It wasn't until the Africans, 500,000 Africans who lost 250,000 of us died in this 13-year war. So it was when the Africans came together as one. They stopped allowing them to divide us by our ethnicity, coming from Yoruba or Akan or Igbo. We came together as one. The Congo women, who were already long centuries before they got to Haiti, used the Catholic Church as the Dedes, missionaries, older women who were ignored, and yet with Mambo Inun, they came together with the network that had started long, long time ago, left behind by Gun Brigitte, Macandal, 1758, so that Macandal dies in January 20th, 1758. You see the harmony? And he says that a prophet will come, a leader will come, and then Haitians, by consensus, say that time is 9 months later, September 20th, 1758. And that's why today, 267 years later, we are here saying thank you to Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Thank you all. Don't forget our various the three as you. All right, I'm going to look one more time and then I will say goodbye. All right, people. Thank you so much for those of you who are watching. Um, I appreciate it a lot. I'll see you November. Long life, Hotep. Okay. Thank you very much. Are we able to reach out and speak virtually one on one? Um, would you like to? I guess I could do that. We still got 15 minutes. Let me see. But if I do that, okay, please let me see how to do it. If I send you a link and you come up here, let me see. I'm going to send it to you, okay? I'm going to try anyways. Let's see. Um, because I would love to have a conversation with you guys. All right, so where is invite? Invite. All right. So what I'll do is, and I know I'm risking getting, okay, so this is for serious people, okay? Melancholy, use this link and let me see. I did send it to you, but I'm not going to wait too long, okay? So anyone who's in the YouTube chat, I appreciate. Oh my goodness, let me see. Okay, are we able to reach individually? You were born January 20th. I think, okay. Melancholy. All right, so how are you?
Hi. Can you hear me well?
Could you introduce yourself?
Yes. My name is Hill. I am a Haitian diaspora. I was born in New York, but both of my parents were born in Haiti. And yeah, I just graduated college, and in college I had the chance to study a lot of Haitian history. So being Haitian just means it's the world to me in general. And
Okay, for some
yeah,
reason there's a you're I don't know. Can you hear yourself? Because I hear. Is it just me? But you seem kind of muffled.
okay.
Okay. Um, are you dressed D Infinite? I just want to double check, okay? Because I've had that happen. Um,
Can you hear me?
yes, sir. Introduce
Okay.
yourself. Tell us where you coming from, where
All right.
you are.
All right. I'm in California,
Okay.
and I've I understand the importance of IT and what it's done for us. I got introduced into IT by my grandfather, and that's really why I wanted to reach out to you. I actually sent you a DM, but you haven't responded as of yet. But I'll just show you right now. I'm glad I got you on.
Okay,
Okay.
where did you send it? Because like I've lost the thread. Like if it's on Facebook, forget it.
I believe it was Instagram. It was Instagram.
That's one of them. I'll put my email in the chat,
Hmm.
and then email me because that's where I get to be able to see everybody. Because sometimes I get so many people, I lose the thread.
I wanted to show you this though, right? And this is okay. Maybe I could bring it in front of me. My grandfather went to IT and was able to bring this back. For some reason, this has always echoed out to me,
Okay.
and unfortunately, he has passed away. And this was one of the things that like called out to me. Can you see what it is?
Um, bring it up the end. Let me see what the end is. Yeah.
I want to know what it is.
Shake it for me again.
I want to
It
know.
sounds like some sort of a wind instrument
Okay.
that they use.
Well, can is there a purpose? I mean, I understand sound means has purpose and has intent. I just wanted to get an idea of
Wow. What year was that? That you said your grandfather?
yes, my grandfather. It was I don't know the exact year, but it was late '60s, early '70s when he went, and he actually brought back a statue of a freed slave that sat at the bottom of our steps when I visited his house forever. And, for the first, my early part of my childhood, I was afraid of it, of course, because it was huge. It was literally life size. But as I got older and I got to understanding like what he was about and what it was about, uh, I grew in appreciation, right?
Mm.
So, and even my father telling me the story of how the trouble it took him to get it back to the United States and all of that.
Well, tell us that story. What? Why? Why did he have trouble getting it?
I believe because what it was, yet again, it was a carving. It was a hand carving of a freed slave with the chain
Oh.
still on his arms,
Okay.
right? Right. So I don't believe the symbolism was anything that they especially the symbolism, the spiritual, the spirituality behind it, like that's literally wood that came from IT, right? So it possessed spirit, right? So I believe, they didn't know, but they understood, right? Kind of what the symbolism and what it stood for. Um,
Okay.
so I just wanted to reach out to you to see if, because of your expertise and your knowledge, I wanted to see if you knew exactly what that was.
I don't. Like
Okay.
I said, the only thing I could think of is it looks like a souvenir.
Okay.
I don't know of a particular use for it, but that doesn't mean that there isn't. So I think that it's probably he probably bought it at one of those souvenir shops or so on, or on the streets, like being made. You could see on the streets the craftsmen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I ask you, when did he go? Because there was a point in time when tourism was fairly, many, like in the 80s, there was a lot of tourism. Um,
And
Heil, are you still there?
this is my altar. This one
Hi, can
is
you
my
hear me better?
altar.
Oh yeah, because I was looking for you. Give me a second. Let me see your altar. Do you have um do you have your ancestors there?
Yes, those are
Okay.
picture of my ancestors.
Nice, nice. All
Yeah.
right, let's talk a little bit now to
Okay.
say your name, please.
It's
Hi,
Hill.
Hill,
It's Hill. Yes.
Hetel. Okay. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, guys. Yes, my name is Hill. I'm in my early 20s. I'm Haitian. Both of my parents were born in Haiti, but I was born in Brooklyn. And I'm a part of the diaspora, living in the United States, and incredibly proud to be Haitian. Full stop.
What part of the U.S.?
Oh, I can't hear you. I don't know if that's just me.
No, my mic is on. That's weird. I'm gonna.
Oh, maybe it's me.
Oh, okay. I
Maybe I'll
I
leave
put
and
the
come
question.
back.
I put the question in the comment.
I'm so I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Virginia, and that's where I'm here now.
I'm gonna put a question since you said you can't hear me. Um, all right, folks. Thank you so much. Where is Yeah, I know that. I hope guys can hear me. Um, is I always found you very interesting, Bookman. What I say, Bookman Kai Mumbo Inan Revolutionary. Oh, okay. If you're there, Bookman.
I can hear you now.
Okay,
Hi.
good. Why don't you finish telling us? I mean, were you born in Haiti?
No, I have never been as well, which is a really big pain of mine. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Do you know
And
what part of Haiti your family's from?
outside Port-au-Prince.
Okay.
I was going to go this year, and then literally right before everything happened, everything was sunrise, and the prices are like $1,000 just to go, which I
Ridiculous.
think is insane. So, um, but I'm planning on going next year.
Okay, very good. Did you have any questions for me at all?
Yes, I meant to say I've studied your videos since I did my thesis on Haiti last year, finished it, and you were a big inspiration as far as a scholar, someone that's Haitian and has been studying the words of our ancestors and putting that to print and exposing someone like me to it. And then I was able to go on this whole rabbit hole.
I'm just wondering, I really wanted to know as I was watching all of your videos, how did you keep with it, I guess, in that sense? Like you keep knowing more, and even today, every day is like a new day to learn more and to share. But it does feel overwhelming, and I did feel overwhelmed by the end of it to where I felt like I had to take a break just a bit to be like, wow.
Okay. Okay. So, what was your thesis?
It was on the occupation actually, and connecting it to colonialism and just the persistent themes of subjugation and how it's related to slavery and the concept of slavery and blackness.
Okay. Now, what is it that's overwhelming you? The situation in Haiti or the research and scholarship that's available out there?
How everything keeps repeating. It felt very it felt very like I keep thinking Black Mirror, but I just felt like I could anticipate everything as it was happening because I was studying Haitian history so deeply. I mean, everything that Trump was saying last year, that's when I was really writing it. It's like he was talking about us eating, like, I don't even want to repeat, cats and dogs and all of that. And I was actually taking a class on the Haitian Revolution, and we were reading text of how they made us eat, or how they had dogs eat us as a punishment. And I was looking at these texts that were written by the French and the rules that they would have us, it, it just felt so crazy in that sense. Like, this is just 200 years of like disempowerment, and every kind of thing that they say about us is a confession. And that's how overwhelming it felt. And yeah.
Yeah. It it presses on you. Not only the repetitiveness of it, but our people's inability to see it. See, you're
Exactly.
able to see it, right? Now, I don't, I probably have a very big capacity for pain, but Annabella will tell you this, right? I was just on her program right before I came here. Desalin was a dancer, right? He loved to socialize and to dance. Uh, Tantoya, she loved martial arts, right? So, as the reason you and I are here is because this has been going on for 267 years, right? Since his death, 1806. Um, but we're here because somebody made love and had children, right? They didn't let it press them so much that they stopped living. So I make it a point, like if it gets too much for me, I take a mental time out and I come back, but I do something I love. I also know that I have to live in my personal desires, right? I love nature. I take a walk. I was an athlete. Whatever it is that brings that to you, right? You deserve it, and you should take when it gets too much. So because it's a long, long road, right? We are going to free Haiti. We are. It's just that for whatever reason, after the civil rights movement, they came down on us so hard, right? You have these millions of people in America in prison that COINTELPRO just put there. And we don't reflect it, right? It's like they're abandoned, right? We went along and we brought, Mr. Obama, who's just a assimilated Negro that didn't do anything for the Black community, right? So we're going to need those who are conscious, but you have to try to stay healthy. Remember, you come from a people who used every level of, you know, Dede Magritte and Defile. These people were midwives, right? They understood the body. Study your body, understand how you feel, study your mind, watch yourself, do meditation, eat good food. You deserve it, because you know why you deserve it. Nobody in this Western Hemisphere has gone through what your mother and her mother and her mother before her has gone through, so that you can be here. You can only honor them by appreciating and enjoying. Like, you got to enjoy. At the same time, you balance out, right? So, like, for me, I have a system, right? I do 6 teaching. I don't care what's going on in IET, right? I will show up. It may not be enough, but I will show up on these days and honor Desalines. And if only 2 people come, I'm still here. So make what is your parameter, right? Because there are those months when people looking for me, they can't find me because it's mine, right? Because you have to do that because it's a long fight. I hope that's helpful. Anything else you want to say?
That resonated very, very hard. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
My next question was actually answered by your first question, in the sense of measuring. I don't think we should measure how much we put into the fight each day. And that's where my head was at for a bit as I was writing. It's like, who's going to read this? Will this actually help? But I think it's more so of just the practice of doing so and becoming stronger.
Also, you're not European. There is something in you that might need to write just so you can know what you're thinking. Like, it doesn't have to be like I'm writing for a book. Like, I never started out as a poet or a performance poet. When I came back from IT, I was the lawyer for Jean-Bertrand Aristide. And I saw that the most educated, the most powerful, the richest people were the most horrid people on the planet. It just, why?
Yeah.
Right? Because you're taught in America that they're going to be more fair. They won't, it's the low level criminal or the people that's in poverty, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It was the U.S. ambassador that tried to get me out of IT. Okay.
I don't want to expose myself. Mm-hmm. I don't want to expose myself, but I see that firsthand every day. My life feels a testament to that, and that, I'm Haitian. I know my roots. They may be humble, but I know the truth of it being like the shining star, the North Star of morality of this world and all of that, and how what they teach us to be morals or what is right is the opposite. And especially when it comes to class and as you get higher in class. Yeah.
Yeah. So pace yourself, produce something, like something you can be proud of, but don't put so much pressure on yourself, right? It could just be to learn, like make a goal to do X, Y, and Z. I think the next generation of Haitians have to look at, like I said, I look at the 3 Residential principles for a new world. That's just principles I put together, right? And said, we have the right to travel. What do you mean? You only got here because you traveled to my space. And now you took it all and tell me I can't travel? There's no borders. I'll give you an example. I was walking because I walk just for health and just to go be in nature. And there was a bird from Mexico during the time when they were deporting all the Mexicans. I'm like, is Trump going to come and get this bird? You see, as a Haitian woman, do have to bring into the world this idea that it's abundant.
Exactly.
The world is not, it's not what they say it is. It is abundant. So just think of it. It's abundant, and but you do have only, 24 hours in a day. So make sure you take care of your health in that time, and make sure you eat good food in that time, non-GMO, like our parents did before USAID started dumping Monsantos and giving them cancer.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I don't know how much, so yeah, I think everybody know. Yes, we can hear you. All right. So Afro NAV world, anyone else have any questions? Um, oh, you do? Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, it was so lovely speaking with you. I'm excited to just see the channel, but also just everyone working together. The spirit of Haitians is incredible to me just to witness. And yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Like I said, we came to free Haiti, but we have to envision what that looks like. We do not want a replica of lesser and greater evil. That's not what we want. And so we have to envision a space where we elevate the ancestors, we bring folks who want to have an ecological, for instance, experience. Haiti is over 1 billion years old. When that landmass, when all the landmass in the West in America were underwater, Haiti was there with Cuba, which means that we have soil that has antibiotic properties. That's why the people are still alive, but they won't tell you that. We have Kim Kalk, I'm sure if you study my work, I focus on Haiti riches. See, if you focus, yes, I look at the imperialism, the neocolonialism, all of that. But then you also have to bring in what is it that's going to make us get out of it, right?
Which is
Haiti's
the
riches. Kim Kalk, for instance, I'm writing the story of Janjak Desalin in Tantoya, and there's a scene where they go to the river in Lembe, and it's part spy thriller, um, part action adventure, and sci-fi, right? And because for years I've been thinking about this asteroid way before people had Wakanda in that movie. If you go back to my work, you see it, right? And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, things happen, right? Because energy doesn't stay in one place, and it's not just if it's just in my head, it will be every place else. So you see, I couldn't tell you, like when I sat down in Black Panther and that asteroid I was like, oh Lord, no. Right? Because I've lived that for like 10, 15 years before I saw Black Panther, right? I kept telling people that an asteroid hit South Africa, and it hit Haiti in the Yucatan, and underneath there's that crater, right? So when I'm writing, right, this piece I'm writing, and I'm hopefully you all will support it when it comes out, because I don't think the establishment is going to care, but I hope you guys will. My vision was that these elements are because we're part of the stars, right? These elements, these craters, I make it in my theater of Dessalines and so on. I imagine a whole different way of how those mountains are sentient. You understand? And how those light beings are oracles, and they can tell us our history.
This is crazy. I've had the exact same thoughts. Exactly the exact same thoughts. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have so much material. Okay. So embrace your culture, embrace that material, and go fly. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any more? You're good? All right, everybody. It is past time. How are you? Let me see. Jumbo, how are you? I did give link for anybody before I leave, just last call. I have been having strong, what is this? Strong visitors about significance. Okay. I wish I had seen Baina when she was here. I missed her. Sorry, Baina. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much. Okay, please share it. Okay, it's sometimes very disappointing when I send things out and I work and there's 90 people watching it, but it is what it is. That's the other thing that you have to know about doing this work is like there's a silence there, and you have to not be intimidated by it. All right. So thank you, everyone. I truly appreciate it. Let me see if I can get out of here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. It won't go. Okay. Banner. All right. So I was going to there is a song that I love that I meant to play. It's let me see if I can play it to for us to go out in. It's the artist is Chantal Laurent, and I try to play it to remember Marie Saint Dede Brazil, which is they call défilé. So let's see if I could find it. I'd like to leave with that, right? You all remember, where is it? So that I can, if not, I'm pretty sure it's here. If not, then thank you all for coming. And please share this, and then I will see you around November 18th if I don't do another Desalin put together here. And so, all right, let me do Descendance and some. All right, folks. Later.
Que longtemps n'obtient. Au côté pour nous vivre, au côté pour nous tout camper, oh père, ouais, dem chanter ça. Ouais, dem chanter ça. Se ci dan gade, nous c'est tout la vie maintenant c'est vrai, on est dem chanter ça. On est dem chanter ça.